Hello, hello, hello. Crafty Chris here for another Scrap Your Scraps. Tonight I am working with some leftover papers from a collection kit that I had, and I'm going to continue the theme of Christmas trees and make a two-page layout using up some of my scraps. So what I have here is, I don't even think I'll use that one, two white cardstock for bases, 12 by 12 cardstock for bases, and then random pieces. I have full cardstock pieces here left over, but I'm going to be cutting them down and using them, and I will give you instructions on how to do all that as I go through creating the pages. So the first thing I want to start with is the left hand side of the page, and I want to start off with organizing my paper in a manner that I like to give some, I've got some notes on my pages, to give some different tones to the paper. So I know that I want this paper to go over maybe 4 inches on the other side and maybe 6 inches on this side. So I'm going to take 6 inches and put it on this side, and I'll take it from the right hand side so that I know it will match when I put it on the other side. So I want to be cognizant of where I do the cutting, and I want to take about an eighth of an inch off the bottom here and about off the top, just so I give it a little, maybe 3/16 of an inch, so I give it a little bit of space. So let's start with that piece right there. So again, I'm going to cut off the border because I can use that somewhere. There's my border gone. Put that in my pile to keep. And I'm going to take, I said an eighth of an inch from top and bottom, so let's do 3/16 of an inch. So there's my 3/16 coming off the top. And the reason why I'm not doing it all at once, I'm doing some at the top and some at the bottom, is because I want the paper to look like it's been cut. Whereas if I do it all off the top, I'll have this white border at the bottom, which I've taken off the top, and to me that won't look balanced. So I am going to take 3/16 of an inch off the top and bottom. Okay, there we go. I could keep that for a piece, but I'm not gonna. I got lots of scraps. Okay, now, so I've got the top and bottom cut for this. Because I know I'm going to be using most of the paper on each side, I'm now going to turn it upside down because I need to do the right hand side and cut 6 inches. There we go. And then this other 6 inches will go on the left hand side. Okay, so this is the right hand side, this is the left hand side. And it cut nicely between the two lines, so I don't have to worry about matching up my letters and my numbers. It cut right in the middle there, which is perfect. That was a fluke. Nothing planned on that. Alrighty, so this is going to be my first piece of paper, and it's going to lay out around there. And I think I'm going to do a little distressing on it as well. Now my next paper, I wanted to do green, and I have a full sheet, but I don't need a full sheet of green. Again, I'm going to take off my, excuse me a minute, my border. There we go. And put that aside. And I want my stripes to go up and down. I could have them go side to side. Interesting idea. Do I want them to go side to side? What's my other options here? Okay, they're going side to side. I think I'll do this up and down because these are sort of horizontal images, so I'll do this up and down. I'm going to take about a 2-inch swath of this. Alrighty, from top to bottom. This I'm going to keep for another day. And I'm going to also remove that. This one I don't mind so much, just taking it off one end because I'm not matching anything. So 3/16 and 3/16 are 3/8. That's 6/16, which is 3/8. Taking off 3/8, and that should match what I have going on here. Perfect. So let's get this lined up so we can see where we're going. And it's just going to overlap a little bit. And then the next paper I have is this paper. And I'm going to take, that's too small for me to keep. I'm going to take my border off of here. Sorry, just lining it up with my cutter. There we go. There's my border, keeping that to the side for another page. And I want everything to be horizontal on here, so I'm cutting it vertically. And I'm going to cut 3 inches for this. I think I'll do it from the bottom because I want to get it nice and lined up. There we go. This is going for another page. And this is going to go in here. And then I'm going to have, on this one, I am going to take, first of all, take off the border. There we go. Put it aside. And then I'm going to take 2 inches off of this. Oh, that border didn't come off very evenly. So I wonder why that happened. Must have shifted the paper a little bit. There we go. There we go. And I'm going to take I said 2 inches for that one, so I think I'm going to do 2 1/4 for this one, just slightly bigger. And then we'll play around with them on the paper. I'm keeping this because I'm making some Christmas trees out of that. Alrighty, now let's mess around with this a bit. I want this guy to be right. Oh, and you know what? These two guys, I forgot to take that 3/8 of an inch off. 2 3/8 of an inch off the top because it doesn't really have a pattern that I'm worried about. And 3/8 off the top. And then these should all be the same size, just double check. Perfect. These are garbage. All right, now 3/16 in from the side. I'm going to glue my first piece down. So let me get my tape on the back. Now, I'm telling you 3/16 of an inch. I don't usually measure. I just eyeball. But by all means, if you need a measurement, you can use 3/16 of an inch. And the idea is to get these guys about the same distance from the edge, and that's why I eyeball it. But if I took 3/16 off the top and the bottom, then it should be 3/16 on the side. Okay. Alrighty. So then the next one is this piece, and it's going to butt right up against that. And it's slightly larger. No problem. I can just take a 1/16 of an inch off of that. Because that is all it looks like it needs. just a little too big. There we go. And we're going to stick that down. Okay. Line it up with this one. There we go. Whoops. Shift it a bit. Just lining it up with the bottom of the one so it all goes together. I'm going to make this one, I think, a little bit smaller. Oh no, I don't have to. I can just butt it up. I'm going to put this guy on now. And I have, before I put that last piece on. All right. And that's going to be even at the top and bottom, which is, like I said, about 3/16 of an inch. Just eyeballing it, because that's my style. Okay, and now this piece, the green, is going to go over top. There we go. So there's my one side of my page. And it's all ready to roll. Now the other side of my page, I'm going to keep this out because I want to align one page with the other page. And I generally do this. So I'm going to make sure I get this adhesed first. There we go. And I want it to align with the page underneath. So I'm going to line those two pages up. And there we go. And now I just make sure that that's right on the edge on both sides. There we go. All right. So that's the beginning of our second page. Now we're going to do some work with Christmas trees. Let me just put a little more right there. It seems to want to pop up. There we go. Okay, so we're going to set this aside for a moment. And now we're going to pull out our Christmas trees. Now, I had some of these, what do you call them? Journal boxes. And I have a vision, and again, it's me flying off the cuff. I need to make a 10-inch tall piece by 6 inches wide in order to do my cut for my Christmas tree. And I want the Merry Christmas to be the bottom of the tree. And I want the snowflakes to come above, and then the remaining inches will be of this paper. So we're going to walk through this. The first thing I know, I have to switch the order of these two pieces. So I am going to separate them. There we go. There's one. And there's two. Okay, so I have these two pieces. Now I can switch the order of them. And what I'm going to do, just for the sake of measuring, is I'm going to put these two together and tape them with some removable tape or some washi tape or something. That's regular tape. There's my removable. Okay, so repositionable tape is your friend. And here we go. One piece in the middle is enough to hold it. Okay, so now this measures 8 inches, so I need 2 inches to make 10 inches of this paper, and I need it to be 6 inches wide. Because I have the cutter I have, I can actually cut the 2 by 6 inch piece out of the paper without cutting the rest of the paper. If you have a guillotine, you're going to have more of a difficulty. You can do it, but it is a bit of a struggle, because you have to be very careful with how far the blade goes, and it's sometimes hard to see. I can see my numbers here, so I know that if I want 2 inches, I just go down to the 2 inch mark and stop, and then I turn my paper over and then come down to the 6 inch mark, which I'm going to show you now. So I'm going to stop here at the 2 inch mark. That's the height of the dots I want. And then I'm going to cut, lining up my cutter with where my cut stopped. I am going to do the 6 inch cut and stop at the 6. Now technically I should be able to remove that piece, and I still have a lot of paper all together in case I want to use that for a bigger project. So that will go away for another day. Oh, actually, I'm using it for this project, so we'll keep that aside. Okay, so now this 2 inch piece is going to go across the top of this here. And I'm going to use my repositionable tape. This time I think I'm going to put 2 pieces on it to make sure that it stays together in the cut I make. Maybe 3 pieces. Something to hold it along the center and at this edge. And I think we'll be okay that way. So now I want to make a Christmas tree that goes from the center here down to each corner, and I have my Merry Christmas at the bottom, and it's a 10 inch Christmas tree. So I'm going to find my center point, do it on the back, because all I have with me right now is a pen, and I'm going to find my center point, so that's where I have to come to, that center point, and of course either corner. So I'm going to get my chopper out this time so that I don't have any the blade catching on any of the corners. And I'm going to line up the corner edge. Okay, so that is my bottom, the corner tip with the center tip here. And make sure that it's lined up. It takes a couple of little jigs usually to get it to line up perfectly. Then I'm going to put my weight down and chop. And now I have some extra pieces there. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the corner at the bottom and my center. There we go. So there you have it. There's our first Christmas tree, and the Christmas tree is going to go on our page. So I lost a bit of the Merry, which doesn't make me happy. So maybe, again, this is why, so maybe, do I want to keep that all in one piece? Nope. Okay, I will do something different, I think. But anyway, I'm keeping this because I like it. So that's going on top, and now I need to make 3 more Christmas trees that are 4 by 6. So I need, and what's that for? Oh, I need another 6 by 10 Christmas tree. Sorry. Let's do that one. And I'm doing it out of 1 paper this time, so it's going to be easier. And the side that I'm using is this. And I've already cut the 6 inches. So this is 6 inches wide here. I'm going to try and leave this side of the page for another project. And I need to go make sure that that follows in 10 inches. Taking off. There we go. Put that aside. Make sure this comes down to 10 inches, which it does. So I'm just going to cut the 6 off all together. There we go. This is a full 12 inches long. That goes in my stash for another page. And this is already 10, so I can just, and it's not cut with a bunch of different things stuck together, so I can just do my, no, maybe I won't, because I don't want to jam one end of it. I'm going to do the guillotine because the guillotine will cut this without possibly catching. So again, we need to measure the center on this is the back side. And so my center point is right there. And I'm going to put it under here again. Line up my center point. And fiddle with it until I get it properly lined up. Okay, cut that end off. And do the same with the corner to the center point. There we go. Alrighty. And these are all scrap pieces I'll look at later to see if I want to keep. And there's my other 6 by 10, that side. So we have 2 6 by 10 inch Christmas trees. Now I need my 3 4 by 6s. So I want to use this paper, and I know that 4 by 6 twice goes into 12 inches. There we go. And then I'm going to cut it in half. There we go. Then on the back side of both of these, I'm going to measure my center point. I'm going to do it at the same time. So all I do is put them together. And I have my mat is over top of a grid paper, so I can see the lines. You can't see them because of the technology, but I can see them very clearly. And my center point is here. There we go. And I'm going to do the same thing, aligning center point to bottom corner or top corner if you're looking at it upside down. And then the same thing from corner to center. Oops. Sometimes things shift, so you gotta be careful what you're doing. There we go. There we go. There's a Christmas tree. We'll do this one as well. Corner to center. I have a lot of lights on here, so I tend to get a reflection on my blade. So it sometimes takes me a minute to get things lined up. There we go. I think that'll work. There we go. Yep. And there's my second small one. These guys go into my pile for later. And I want, okay, that's my 2 Christmas trees done. And then I'm going to do a Christmas tree with the stripe, a 4 by 6 Christmas tree with the stripe. Now, well, I'm going to cut this off completely because that makes a full nice 12-inch border that I can use. And this piece will go in for a mat or something on another page. And now I'm going to line up my center point again. There we go. Oops, should have put that dot on the other side because I don't want it to show on this side because this is my third Christmas tree. There we go. There we go. And there is my third Christmas tree. And I think that's it for Christmas trees, but we are going to need stems for the two largest Christmas trees. So I am going to use this little striped corner, and I am going to take, I think I'm going to cut it out first because it'll be easier to use. Make sure I got it lined up. There we go. Alrighty. There we go. And these guys can go for other things. Now, I want to use, so this one is going in the front, this one is going behind. I won't need to see that one. This one is going on one side, this one is going on the other side, and this one is going here. And this is the one I think needs to have, I have to pick the colors for these. So I think I'm going to go with the turquoise, and I'm going to cut a 1/2 inch by 1.5 inches. So first let's get that off all together. There's my turquoise, and I'm going to cut 1.5 inches. Okay, so this is going to go here. That's the stem for that one right there. And I think I'm going to go with the red. Okay, that's that way. Yes. So I'm going to take the red off of this. There we go. This is a little too small. I'm not sure about those, but I'll keep them with the papers. And I need 1.5 or 1 inch. So this is going to be a 1 inch. Because this is going sideways. So that's going to go sideways on that one. And this one is going to tuck underneath on this one. Okay. And that I'll hang on to. All right. So now that's it for cutting at the moment. And now we're going to get these guys down on the base. So here's our base. Now we want our large one in the background, but we want room for a 4x6 photo there. So I'm going to get my photo mats out. Whenever I have time and scrap paper, I just simply cut up little mats. So I've got here 2x2s, 3x4s, 4x4, 4x6 in different orientations. And that's how I play out how many photos I can get on a page. Now this one, I want to make sure that I have room for a photo. And I'm going to put a 4x6 right on the edge here because I want the photos to go right to the edge. And I'm going to do a 4x4, so let's see where that brings us. And I want that 10 inches sort of centered from top to bottom. So about like that. Now the first big Christmas tree is going to go about there. And then we are going to have the second Christmas tree about here. We have to leave room at the top there for it to have a star, because we're going to make some stars and star there. And then this guy, actually I can move this guy up a little. This guy is going to sit at the bottom as well. And then I'm going to have this guy poking out of there. And this guy, I don't mind if he crosses over a little bit, just underneath this tree here. And maybe have him out like that. And then I need to have room for my stem at the bottom here, and room for this stem at the bottom here. And this tree is closer. So it's kind of like a little bit like that. Okay, so that's kind of the way that I'm playing this out. And so if we can just do this step by step. So I'm going to take a quick photograph with my camera, because I use my camera a lot when I'm working, so that I can remember how I have things laid out. And then I just have this photo in front of me, so I can look at it while I'm putting everything back. So I shift off everything except what I need to stick down right now. And nothing is going to be, there's no weight on this, so I'm not going to worry about it being too let's see. I want to get these guys sort of in the middle. And this guy is going to go maybe a little bit behind. Have some room at the top. And try to make it, oh, need a little more room than that. And try to make it lined up with the bottom. Again, I'm an eyeballer. So if you need a measurement for that, it's about an inch and a half. So the first 6x10 Christmas tree goes an inch and a half from the bottom. Then the second Christmas tree, we're going to do the same sort of thing. This one has tape on it, so I'm just going to put a little extra stuff right where the seams are. There we go. And this one is going to be, let's see, up there, maybe a little higher. Yeah, maybe about there. Got some glue sticking out, and we're going to try and make that even. And that measurement is about an inch, approximately an inch from the bottom. So there's our first two Christmas trees. And this one is going to slip under there, and this one under there. So I probably didn't have to stick this all down, but luckily nothing goes permanent until 12 hours or so for most adhesives. And let's see, I'm going to have that go approximately like that. And I need to see it to see if I've got it kind of level. There we go. That's going to go right on the corner. Don't need these guys anymore. This guy is going to go down and around there, but I'm going to take the adhesive off of here because I'm going to let this one go over top of the photo. And I can stick that down afterwards. So actually I'm going to tuck it in a bit and I'm going to have it come out about that much. All right, and then this guy is going to go in front of them all. And let's see, I want this to go right along there. Okay, and there's our other little tree. Actually, I'm going to move this along just a little bit. There we go. All right, so there are our Christmas trees. I can now close this. All right, and then I can put my little stem, sort of centering it on the tree. Not sort of, but eyeballing it. I like that it lines up with the bottom. And this is not going to be at the same level. It's going to be slightly back because it shouldn't be in the front. It's not in the front. And I'm just going to take a quick check, see if that's more or less centered just by eyeballing. Yeah, looks pretty good. Alrighty, so those are my trees. So there you have my trees. Now this is disappearing, and I remember I said that I wanted to age them, but I have a different idea since I missed that window of opportunity. But before I go any further, I'm going to want to just stick these down with removable tape. Turn it sideways. Just one little piece of removable tape is enough. And I'm going to work that about here. And it's going to flip under there. And this one is going to be about there. And I can tuck that underneath the corner there. Yeah. Now, we do have embellishments to do on this, but now I'm going to put the pictures on the other side so we can see where everything's going to lay out. Okay, that's where we are so far. Okay, so before we go any further, we're going to cut our little stars for our trees. So I have some star punches, and I'm just going to look at my leftover journaling cards to see if there's anything that might, I kind of like this. I might use those two, so I think I'm going to go for this end and maybe some of this. So we're going to start with those and see how we go. Now, As far as size, I think that those might be too big. I think we'll start with these ones. So the larger of the two is going to be for the big trees, and the smaller of the two is for the 3 smaller trees. Alrighty, now I'm going to start with the big one, and I would like to get one for each of the trees out of each of the colors. So I'm going to try to make sure I can get all 3 colors in there a little bit. There we go. So there's 2 stars. One right near the top, one near the bottom. I'm going to pop dot those. And then I need 3 smaller. So let's do one small red one. I think I want him over there. And I just switched it around because when I do the punch, it actually, one side has got some fraying on it and the other side doesn't. And it's probably because my punches are not sharp. And you can sharpen them. And let's see, I'll take some out of here to make it a little different. There we go. So I think I'm going to put red and green here. And I dropped one. There we go. So I have red and turquoise. Now I can move it around any way I like. Don't really want it to be, there we go, something like that. There we are. So there's my, now again I'm running into that color. So I think I'm going to go back into the red and green here. There. So I'll bring this one down here and then do red and green there. Okay. Whoops. Sorry. There. I like that better. Alright, so this star, since I've cut it, I'll put it in with my geometric shapes under stars. Alright, and let's just pop dot this very quickly. Those are thin dots. Alright, I've got some mini dots here. There we go. There we go. And I think I'm going to have this go in the other direction. So I'll use a bigger dot on that one. So the stripes are going in a different direction. And whoops. And I want the green is on top there, so I'm going to put the green on the bottom here. There we go. Just to give it some variety. And let's see. There we are. Okay. Good to go. All right, so this is, for all intents and purposes, finished. I'm going to do a little bit of decorating afterwards with some glitter dots and things. And I think I'm just going to double check. I think we're good here, but I need to put on my my mats. Okay, so I got my shapes, or not my shapes, my mats, and I'm just going to put a little weight on here, and I have to, so I'm going to put 2 4x6s here, and then 3 2x2s across the bottom, and it'll kind of fill in the same amount of space, more or less. And I'll save the others for later. Okay, and I want to just line them up in the same location as where I have the ones on the other page. And this is my quick way of doing it. Just have the page handy. Put in some repositionable tape, because it's just a placeholder. These are not going to be permanent. Oops. Just enough to keep them stuck in a position. All right, so if we get our paper lined up here at the top, and I know I start this guy right there. Okay, so then I can take that away, and whoops, it's upside down. So basically I'm underlining this row, so I'm just going to do that along the edge there. So there's my first one. There's my second one. These guys go side by side underneath. So twisty. And it should all come out too. Oh, I guess there's a little space between these guys. There shouldn't be though if it's 2 4x6. So maybe one of these is too small. Get a different one. There we go. Maybe that one's too small. I just quickly cut these, so. Anyway, when I put the pictures in, they will be the right size. And they'll take up that whole distance because it's 6 and 2 and 2 and 2 is 6. All right, so when I put those two pages together, they should fit in the same space. Perfect. Okay, awesome. Now on this side of the page, I wanted to add a journal box, and I need it to be in the shape of a star. Now, I don't have a star punch that is big enough, but I do have this piece of wooden star, and I'm not actually going to use it, but I'm going to use it as a template to cut out a piece of mat. All right, so let's see. I just want a piece of white for matting. And it has to be big enough. Okay. Actually, I know what I can do. I have some scraps. Actually, I have this guy right here. I will never use this. I might use the outside as a frame for a photo, but I'll never write anything on the inside. So I'm going to steal the inside of this and trace a star. So it's going to be a bumpy star that I trace right off the bat because I'm tracing from this bumpy thing, but I'm going to cut it straight, and I'm going to use a ruler to do that because I don't really want this to be all jaggedy. There we go. So there's my star shape, and now I'm going to use my ruler to straighten it up. And because it's all I have in my craft room to use, it's going to have to do. There we go. It's looking pretty good. There we go. That's not a bad looking star. That'll suit my purposes. All right, so now there's two ways I can get into the center of this. One is that I can just cut one cut in, and then when I use it as a mat, it, you know, for that 1/4 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch, it's not really going to show. Or I can poke into the background and then cut out. So I think I'm going to poke into the background because I try to err on the side of keeping what I want to use in its entirety. And I'm not going to get fussy about how I cut it out until I get it out, because it's just easier on my brain. So this is still a mat because your picture is going to cover over that hole, and it allows you to use some of the piece that's underneath. Now, carefully cutting. I'm going to speed this section up because it is a little bit long to watch me cut. There we go. So there's my star. Okay, this is, just want to make sure everything is even. There we go. So there's my star. And now I'm going to create a piece that will be out of patterned paper. And this is going to go back in my star collection for another time. So I need a piece of pattern paper that I'm going to use, and I think I'm going to try to find something with some red in it. And if I'm not mistaken, I did that. So I think I'm going to use this piece here. So I'm going to go in, doesn't matter which side I use really, and I want to give myself about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. So let's see if I can use this a little better. So if I do a sketch, I just want this red to show a little bit. I'm going to put that this is the top because I handmade this. It's going to have imperfections and I don't want those to show in the final piece. Maybe a little wider here. And I'm literally just sketching the lines of what is going to be the star. Whoops. It's better not to have it move around on you. If you can avoid it. Something like that. Okay, and that's my top. So I'm just going to cut around, and I'm going to start with this corner because I do want it to be pointed on the edges. All right, and as straight a cut line as possible. There we go. It doesn't take very long to do this, so if you're needing to have shapes you don't have in your in the right size, you can always, like I've done here, trace around the outer edge of one that you do have. It's a little bit wonky. Let's see how it looks with it's going to be this side like this. That looks okay to me, and that gives me what I need to pop off the back of the paper as my journal spot, so I'm happy with that. And I'm just going to stick that down right away with some adhesive. Make sure my T is with my T, T and T. Try to center it as best I can. There we go. And there's my finished star. Looks just fine. Okay, now what else was I thinking about this? I think that's it, really. And then there's just the decorating. Okay, so I was going to have this somewhere in here. Let's get my 2 pages together, clear space. And let's see what came with this collection that I've already used. So I've got some star bits. Let's get the whole 2 pages out here. You're probably not going to be able to see the whole 2 pages. Alrighty, now I want him about there. Now I am going to pop dot this, but I need to write on it first. So I am just for the meantime going to put some repositionable tape on the back until I have had a chance to do some writing. Now I've got all kinds of interesting things here, and I also have some washi tape. I haven't even opened the washi tape, but let's do that now. And this is all part of the same collection. Oh, they make this stuff so difficult to open. I have green stripes, I have red stripes, and I have red dots. And then I have a bunch of these die cuts. Let me just get them out of the bag here. So there's die cuts here. 'Tis the season. And I've used some of them, obviously. Oh, no, I haven't even used any of those. So I've got these, and then these fancy glitter things. One that says Jolly. There's all kinds of things in here. I have Noel in silver. I think I'm going to stay away from the silver because there's enough white here, and I find that the silver might be, I need to pull in some more red, I think. So let me pull out all the red stuff. I had red presents. Just get it all out. Red M. Snowflake. There's some snowflakes in there. I may end up using those, but for now, I'm sticking with my plan for red. And then we'll see afterwards. Okay. So I have the letters Mary. And I have the word Christmas, which was kind of what I was going for underneath here, which I can now do with the red, which punches up just a little bit more. Jolly, I don't think I want to use that this time. I think I'll stick with the Mary. And no, I don't really want to put bows on things. Bows at corners. I'll think about that a little bit. Not sure if I will go that way. We have red snowflakey things. I think I'll stay away from those. So I like the presents. Maybe down in this corner I can do a little collage of presents. It's slightly off screen to you, but I will show that to you a little closer. Okay. A little bit of bling in the center of the stars, the two big stars. Now what else do I have here? I think that's enough blingy red. Don't want to go overboard with the red. And let's see. So here I have 'Tis the Season, but it's a little larger than I want to have on my page. I've been making Christmas ornaments and they're sort of falling into the page here. So let's move this over so you can see what's going on this side. So I have my popped up thing there. We believe. Wonderful. I'm not really seeing anything. Maybe the present. I can take out that present and add in paper present. Because I think that's just a little much. So we have a couple of presents here. That's now small. So maybe I put that on a background. Let's see. That's another present. Do I put it on a tag? So I'm just kind of throwing this together. So if I put that in the background, let me just lay this out a little because they're stickers. It looks upside down. That could be like a sticker. Whoa. Something like that. And I could tie a bow, some ribbon in there. Or maybe I bring it over here, get rid of the bow. Or maybe I use the bow for the ribbon and have that pop dotted in the corner. No, I'll just get a little bit of string. Yes, I think I like that. So let me get this to stick down. So that's going to go like that. I'm going to pop dot that over the corner of the picture because I need to put the picture in there. Okay, so pop dotting this guy. 2 big dots, big pop dots. I'm going to poke out that little hole because I am going to turn it into a tag with some ribbon on it, or not ribbon but string. And I need to put, I don't think these are self-adhesive. No, they're not. So I'm going to glue down this guy. All along there. Put him there like that. And then I'm going to pop dot this one. Sorry, just dropped my stickers on the floor. And now they're stuck. I cut my nails, so I can't pick anything up anymore. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to put a pop dot on the back of this one. There we go. Make sure it's beside that one. This one is going to just stick on top. Maybe a little pop dot under there because it needs to have some leverage. There we go. And then this guy is just going to go to the side. Like that. And he'll need some pop dots too. 2 and 3. Okay. I'm going to move this pop dot a little bit. So that that can go right over the corner. There we go. So there's our little collage of gifties in the bottom corner. I think I'm going to go with a smaller ribbon at the top. Not quite a big one. I don't want too much to be glistening up there. Again, pop dotting. This time I'm going to use mini pop dots, which I have right here. So, mini pop dots. These are little teeny tiny pop dots. There we go. And I think I can squeeze another one on there. And maybe another one on there just to give it some support. Okay. So now that guy's going to go up in that corner, just slightly off the page. There we go. And then I can slip the photo underneath. And you know what? I'm just going to get this down. I like that. That's going to be there for my journaling. I don't mind it being simple on that side because we're very fancy on this side. So I'm going to leave that the way it is. And now I am going to put this in. And I think, do I want to pop dot it? I think I'll pop dot the Mary and I'll put the Christmas down. Sorry, my glue is dried up already. Only takes seconds. And because you're on paper, you don't need a huge amount of glue. If you were on glitter or if you were on an embossed surface, you would have to have a thicker glue so that it would get in the crevices. But for the purposes of flat paper, a thin layer of quick dry glue is good enough. Okay. Just want to make sure that looks about even. There we go. Sorry folks, I have to put it up so I can see it. Yep, that looks good. Now, these guys I want to pop dot. I have little thin strips I can use for pop dotting in here, especially when it's perfect size for this. go. A tiny little piece in there. Let's get the M started. Yes, I think that looks good there. And again, it's a little thin on that side. I might use the small pop dots for that, because it's a little too small for my strip. There we go. There we are. Okay, I'm going to whip through this section quickly so you don't have to watch it too long. There we go. Merry Christmas. Alrighty, that for the most part is finished. I am now just going to think about this. Do I want to put some along the bottom just to give a base? Oh, that might be cute. So I'm going to stick that under there, right along the base, and then trim it. There we go. That kind of just finishes it a little bit. Do a little bit on this side. Probably should have done this in the beginning if I'd known I was thinking about that, but as I do things on the fly, we can play with it after the fact. Oh, that's too short. There we go. Okay. Trimmed along there. I probably could have folded it under as another alternative. There we go. I just want something there. Let's see if these dots will do the job. That's cute. Sure. Let's do dots. And I'm just going to fold it under this time. And I can trim that little bit that's there. And trim that little bit that shows up there. And there we are. So here is the finished 2-page layout without photos, of course, because Christmas hasn't happened. And I thank you for indulging me in doing Christmas trees one more time. And let me just raise this up so you can see the whole layout. There you go. One last Christmas tree craft. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next Thursday. Bye now.